Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special Rebirth edition of Comic Book Cove. I'm Tom Morris.
And I'm Josh Holderbaum.
And Lady Margot Elise, as usual. Josh, this episode, we're back after a week. Oh, convergences and headaches.
Mm-hmm.
Why did we decide to take a week off? Well, because I was sick. And then I decided to make you feel ill by giving you 2 Superman Reborns to read that week.
Uh-huh. Yeah, trying to process everything that happened in that. It isn't super easy.
No. We get a lot of, towards the end of this episode, we're going to talk about the Rebirth implications because, of course, Superman was the big one. And so we're doing Reborn 3 and 4. But also, Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps had one. Mm-hmm. And The Flash, at the very end, had a Rebirth implication that's going to lead into a team-up next month. But this is a very interesting episode of Comic Book Cove to say that there was a lot going on in all the comics, and trimming them down to just 6 was kind of hard, but then again, these were the ones that stood out.
Yeah, and there's still a lot of discussion to be had about this 6. I mean, this seems like a very short list, but there's a lot to discuss.
Definitely. This episode of Comic Book Cove, we are going to discuss the following titles. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps number 17, Wonder Woman number 19, Detective Comics number 953, The Flash number 19, Superman number 19, and Action Comics 976. And as always, spoilers ahead. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps number 17, Quest for Hope Part 4, The Blue and the Green. Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps, one of my favorite titles. These last couple issues, we've seen the merging of the Green Lantern Corps and the Sinestro Corps. And we've seen where Guy Gardner went I don't want to say he went rogue, but he went out to prove a point. Yeah. And that is to take down the biggest Sinestro Corps. If you want to call him the lieutenant, the second hand, third in command, Acrillo. They go in an old-fashioned fist fight, no rings, and Guy finally beats him, but it looked like at the end that neither one of them were going to make it.
Yeah, and then kind of unsurprisingly, Guy survives that. Arkillo's still basically comatose.
Yes.
Which kind of means Guy got off a little bit easier than that. And it's funny because as Guy's explaining why he did that to John Stewart, who's of course his friend and his superior, who says, "What were you thinking? Why did you do that?" He says, "Well, I'm a cop, but I know prison rules. I mean, I know how to make people stay in line." And basically, this was his idea of how to keep the Sinestro Corps in line. I mean, this is, if you step out of line, I'm going to come after you. And I guess he's going to challenge him to a fist fight at that point.
Right. He's going to show them that you need to respect. And that's the way you'd go about respect. And it was a nice little moment when you see Guy Gardner going into Acrillo's room. He brings him back the tooth that he had knocked out that Guy gave him for a souvenir. And it wasn't about collecting a souvenir. It was, hey, I want you to respect who's the toughest person, but I want you to have a respect for me so when we're busting out bad guys together, you have that respect. I don't know if Acrillo will begrudgingly, even if he respects him, if he's going to want to take down the bad people.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like that's going to be mutual respect on Arkillo's part. But that is also really surprising that Guy Gardner, who's kind of the most hard-headed member of the Green Lantern Corps, would be accepting of the Sinestro Corps. I mean, he's kind of embraced that, and he's embraced Arkillo, which is I mean, maybe he's expecting them to be partners at some point, which. I mean, I doubt they could put Arkillo with anyone else if he even decides to go on with that.
That was probably the point. If you're going to team up, you're going to team up with someone that you know that you respect.
Yep.
What else is going on? Everything's not as peaches and cream as anything else. You still have Soranek and John Stewart. They're the leaders. But there's still some friction between Yellow Sinestro Corps and Green Lanterns. Yeah. And your favorite part was Tomar Ray and
Tomar 2.
Tomar 2.
Who's his successor, as Tomar 2 and his Sinestro Corps partner have been assigned to go after Romat and Rue, which is, I always think is, Scooby-Doo talking about Green Lantern characters, is, they have to go after him because he's still on the loose. He's a serial killer. He's same planet as Tomar 2 and Tomar Ray, and they come back. His report says to John that we didn't find any traces of Romat Rue, and John's a little freaked out by that because Romat Rue's a serial killer. He doesn't want him out there. We see Tomar 2 has what looks like Romat Rue's Sinestro Corps ring, and it says that lantern is deceased. And you see Tomar 2 turn to his partner and say, "You keep your mouth shut about this.
Right.
This is just between you and us." So it looks like they went out and they rubbed out Romat Rue. So, that's a pretty big jump for a Green Lantern to make. That's not what they do. We've already kind of seen a lot of that, not quite friction, but sort of almost the abuse of the Sinestro Corps prisoners. They're just being imprisoned in the science cells. Their lives are pretty much over unless they agree to team up with the Green Lanterns and the good half of the Sinestro Corps. So we'll see if that comes back to haunt the Green Lantern Corps from that.
Yes.
Because that's a pretty big step to take.
It is. The real meat of this issue, the major storyline is Saint Walker is brought back, and he's the last Lantern of Hope, which was created the Blue Lanterns, which represent hope, were created by Ganthet and Sade. And the reason that they were Ganthet and Sade, they came back to Mogo, and they also brought back Kyle Rayner, who's the White Lantern. The white light is of life. The reason they brought them back was because they wanted to, I guess, kind of bring back life on Mogo. So
and bring back kind of hope to the universe too.
And there's a theme there throughout this episode. We're going to talk about hope at the very end, but just kind of remember Green Lantern and hope. So they have Kyle Rayner kind of channel the white light through Saint Walker, and it seems like it looks like for a time that the white light's going to envelop everything. But then Saint Walker says, "No, stop, get out. You shouldn't be here." Something blocks that white light, and what happens is, when it's done, Kyle Rayner is kind of drained out of the light, out of the white light, and the White Lantern ring splits apart into the spectrum of rings. You got the indigo, you have indigo, which is compassion. You have red, which is rage. You have green, which is willpower, yellow, fear, so on and so forth. You have star sapphire, which is love. The point is that ring splits, and it starts searching for replacements, except for the Green Lantern willpower. And Ganthet was kind of at first saying, well, something's went wrong. And Kyle Rayner says, no, nothing went wrong, because it said replacement had been found almost immediately with that green ring. You see Kyle Rayner grab it, put it back on, and then his old Green Lantern costume comes back on. That was an awesome moment. That was really cool. But there was also something that happened. There was talk to, Ganthet was talking to Kyle Rayner on why he was one of the greatest Lantern. No, it was actually Hal Jordan.
Hal basically says to Kyle, I may be the greatest of the Green Lanterns. You're the greatest of all the Lanterns because you're the White Lantern. You've mastered all the emotions. That's what white light represents. It's kind of, it's life and it's a mastery of each emotion, sort of in harmony with one another. And that's something Kyle Rayner has felt. He's experienced all those and he was just an artist who ends up being, a Green Lantern. So he has to go through a lot more tumultuation in his career as a Green Lantern. And it's interesting too that Hal also mentions the artistic side to this. Is that because Kyle is an artist and he has a different way of looking at the universe, and it seems like if anyone else had been a White Lantern at that point, they might not have been able to bring hope back.
Right.
Because they might not have been able to envision how to do that, how to bring life back to Mogo.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big step up for Kyle Rayner.
Exactly.
Because we didn't see him for a lot of this series.
No,
So
just the last few issues.
That puts him on a pretty high pedestal.
Mm-hmm. We also see that when they used St. Walker as a lightning rod, we also saw that there was some literally disturbance in the forest, disturbance in the spectrum.
Yeah.
Atrocitus felt it.
Mm-hmm.
And Barry Allen felt it with the indigo symbol.
Hard to tell if Atrocitus felt it. I mean, he just looked angry, and he looks
Well,
he looks angry and spits blood all the time. So
Yes.
who knows?
But Oz felt it.
Yeah.
Oz felt it, and at the same time, there was some pictures of Superman up on the wall, which
And he had Kyle Rayner
Yep.
up, grabbing the power ring.
Yes.
So that's interesting.
We're going to talk more about that here later on, what that kind of means for Rebirth. But Green Lantern, Hal Jordan Green Lantern Corps title just keeps rolling and rolling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's still kind of the comfort zone for me
Yes.
because I know all the characters, I know what they're doing. It's at this point finally they're kind of getting into that what feels like the rebirth, the underlying story arc of that.
Yes.
Too, with the blue light and the white light being blocked by someone. So it makes me think we're going to have far greater implications for that.
Definitely. Kyle Rayner is back as a Green Lantern. Hal Jordan is back with the Green Lantern Corps. We're going to see what happens with the Sinestro Corps teaming up. Will Guy Gardner and Akrillo be the new odd couple of the DC Universe? And can we expect a breakoff title, which would be absolutely, truly amazing? A lot to look forward to in future issues of the Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. Wonder Woman number 19, The Truth Part 3. Looks like we're at the end of this previous couple issue story arc and kind of going into a new one. So this issue was wrapping up a little bit.
Yeah, we're getting towards the climax of the quest to find Themyscira. Sort of for Wonder Woman to find that before Dr. Veronica Cale and the rest of Godwatch does.
Yes.
So we're getting there. At this point, Etta Candy, Steve Trevor, and Ferdinand, the Keithatar, I still love to say that, they've made it to the asylum where Diana is, since she's still in her hallucinations. And as it turns out, she just has to look at Ferdinand, and
Right.
she's back to normal. So
How odd.
yeah, hey, it's Ferdinand. I guess maybe he's really unmistakable. I don't know. And it's interesting too because on their way out, Diana doesn't really explain what happened to her.
Yeah.
Steve and Etta are pretty concerned about how that could even happen because she's the most powerful one of them, and if her mind can be broken that easily,
Yes.
that could happen again. Diana, one of the things she does explain is she mentions that she's never been back to Themyscira. Etta says, no, that's not true. You've been back plenty of times
Right.
since you got here. And Diana says, no, that wasn't Themyscira.
Right.
Wherever I went, that wasn't the real Themyscira. That was a lie that someone was telling me, and I believed it because I liked it. And because I believed it, that made it true. Which kind of seems to imply maybe if that fake Themyscira was created, which I'm assuming was the one they visited not that many issues ago,
Right,
with the
yes.
weird blonde Hippolyta and the weird dark
Yes.
nature, maybe that's what's hiding Themyscira,
Mm-hmm.
the real one, because maybe she doesn't remember where that is because she's still thinking about that other one. Sort of like an association
Right.
discord.
Or she has to clear her mind to kind of truly see
Yep.
what's there.
Yeah, she really has to maybe delve beneath the surface
Mm-hmm.
to find her way there. And back in Themyscira, the Amazons are still holding fort around the big tree.
Right, yes.
And as they're still discussing what to do, Io notices that animals are starting to show up.
Yep.
And we know that's the animals that represent Diana's patrons, that represent the Greek gods. And that's what Castalia says that means she's on the move. That means, I think she says, the key might be in the door,
Right.
but the door's not open yet.
Yep.
So, and this means that even the gods from Olympus are starting to pay attention to what's going on there.
Yes.
So something big's going to happen.
Yeah, it
with
feels
that
like
tree.
something is going on.
Yeah.
That we're really getting, like you said, we're getting to the point where the story is, we're going to get the payoff. But unfortunately, not everything is going well, because a couple issues ago we did see where Barbara turned back to Cheetah. And unfortunately, she kind of got lied to about the hunger, and I felt for her with this issue at the very beginning, where they're like, the hunger still is. You said it would be different, and it will be once we get what we want.
Yeah. She's being manipulated, but I think she's in a state of mind where she really can't fight that manipulation, because all she can think about is hunger. And it's only when Wonder Woman and the crew make it to Godwatch's headquarters, and they run into Dr. Cyber, who explains that Cheetah and Veronica Cale are on a jet to the Black Sea, which seems to imply they're going to go to Themyscira themselves, which is not something I was expecting. I kind of expected them to use Wonder Woman for that. Yeah, I don't know how they would find it if they're en route. I mean, how do you know where to land? How do you know where to go unless they've already found it and they're just going to land already? But I don't know. So we'll see what happens with that.
What did you think of when Dr. Cyber kind of went off on Wonder Woman, saying that you're responsible, just you being here is responsible for everything that's happened to your friend, to your friends, to herself, to Veronica Cale, to her children? Just that Wonder Woman is just so, I don't hate to use the word hope, has a lot of hope in life, and bubbly, what she call her, airhead, that look around you and see of all the problems and all the hurt you've caused just by you being here. You're supposed to be a champion, but look. She was vicious with her.
Yeah. Well, for a gal who had her body destroyed and was turned into an AI, there might be some resentment beneath the surface. But too, bear in mind, all of Godwatch's actions were caused by Deimos and Phobos taking Veronica Cale's daughter. So, I mean, there's a lot of manipulation. There's a lot of stirring of the pot. And Wonder Woman wasn't even aware of, I don't think she was even aware Dr. Cyber even existed.
No.
She wouldn't know that she had caused her entire body to, burst into flames in a contraption that was trying to steal her memories.
Right.
And two, I mean, Dr. Cyber is the one who caused Barbara and Minerva not to be able to get in contact with Wonder Woman when she went to go research Urs-Cortaga. So, I mean, Cyber tries to pin that on Wonder Woman. I think a lot of that's just to maybe distract Wonder Woman, keep her confused, keep her angry, maybe not focusing on who the true villains are. So, and maybe even that was just to make her give it up right there.
Exactly. What happens at the end? They're a little kind of confused for me what happens at the end. All of a sudden it just goes so quickly. Because Veronica Cale told to initiate with the Godwatch protocol.
Yep.
Who did she tell?
That was with Marina Maru and the head of the poison unit.
Yes.
So as they leave Godwatch headquarters, they get ambushed by the poison unit. Wonder Woman blocks what looks like one sniper, takes out a van that had Marina Maru in it, and then gets shot right through the chest.
Yes.
Like,
ouch.
Okay.
I never thought Wonder Woman
there.
I always thought she was bulletproof.
Her powers have fluctuated so much over the years. I'm assuming that would be the point to having, bulletproof bracelets. If the rest of your body's bulletproof, that's not going to do much good. But, maybe that was some kind of special bullet they had. I mean, if their name is Godwatch, it seems like they would have bullets that could deal with gods. And we don't know if she's still a demigod at this point, if she still has Zeus's heritage. So we'll see. Kind of assuming she's going to survive from that. I don't know if she's going to walk off a bullet through the chest.
Right.
I mean, it floors her right there, so who knows? And that kind of begs the question, is she going to be able to make it to Themyscira in time, if she can even find Themyscira and stop Veronica Cale and Cheetah from letting Phobos and Deimos
That's
walk
true.
in there. So yeah, a lot of high tension at the end of this.
Now, what are your thoughts on Wonder Woman? I still enjoy Wonder Woman. I enjoy Wonder Woman. I love the back and forth. We've talked about that before, the past, the present. Now it seems finally they're going to converge into the storyline. What do you think is coming next for Wonder Woman?
I really don't know. I really honestly don't know where the truth story arc is going. I mean, I feel like we're gonna get the payoff very soon. I mean, this feels like it's gotta be some different origin points for her in terms of the Godwatch story arc. I know it says the teaser, her last issue mentioned the witch, and I'm thinking they're gonna bring Cersei into the mix for Godwatch, because that would be another big Wonder Woman villain to bring in. If not, could be some other witch. I'm hoping it's Cersei, but whatever. That'll make me happy anyway. But I still need to know, what is the tree? I mean, is it Ares? Is it, what's going on here? I don't know, and I think Wonder Woman doesn't either.
We're going to find out.
Yeah, but the payoff is coming up,
and
so.
hopefully they can redeem Cheetah. I liked when Wonder Woman said, like, even though her body was healed, her wounds were not, and she wasn't able to get over her wounds. That's why she did what she did. But hopefully Barbara Ann can be redeemed and then go forward.
Yeah.
Great issue to read. We're getting the convergence of the storylines here shortly. With that, we're going to take our first break, and when we come back, we've got Detective Comics number 953 and The Flash number 19. We'll be back in just a moment.